This is
Don't worry, it's not.
it's Vicks Vapor Rub.
The only person in history to say Vicks Vapor Rub properly is that motherfucker right there. Everybody in the South says
Vapor Rub.
no, it's not. It's not actually.
You guys good to go?
Rub. This Vapor Rub, and he said it right. Nobody says it right.
Hang on, Glenn. You ready for us?
We're having a discussion. No, it's Vapor Rub.
Save it for the show.
You guys are live. Go ahead, go.
Okay, Kent. Yeah, we're ready, man.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with it. It's fine. Nobody slip on my spill, okay?
You're live.
Oh, shit.
Oh shit!
All right, hey, everybody. We're jumping in, and Justin's coming in hot.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to CNA Weekend Recap. We have been sitting down here in the geek room taking some drinks, and you might have noticed that as the show started. Right there. And they're sharing. Isn't that sweet?
That's weird. That's weird.
We got two main things we want to talk about tonight.
Yeah.
And I will try to keep this rodeo wrangled here.
Good luck with that.
First off, we want to talk
good
about.
chaps. The rope. Can we do that?
First off, we want to talk about Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Christmas gifts.
It's a good movie.
It is. It's a really good movie. And since I do rail things, I feel like I maybe got to kick him off to the side and get back on track. Yeah, so all three of us went and saw Wakanda Forever at the same time. And all three of us were absolutely blown away by what they did with it.
If you know me or if you've watched this show, you probably know I was kind of rooting against this movie because I very much was in the recast T'Challa camp. I wanted that story to continue. I wanted this vision of what I thought it should be. So I went into this movie wanting to dislike it. I can't.
Yeah. No.
Spoiler discussion, by the way.
Yes, we're going to talk all about this
Everything.
If you haven't seen it, what the fuck is wrong with you? Go see it.
And coming
Right
in
there.
aggressive.
He is right, though. This is a big movie. This is, in my opinion, well, let's save that. We'll do that at the end, where we put this in Phase 4.
Yeah, I think that's a good
Let's
thing.
save
We'll
that.
talk about it later. Yeah.
But this is the end of Phase 4. This is the final movie of Phase 4 before we start moving into the true Kang Dynasty saga. So this movie was both the end of Phase 4 and the end of T'Challa, the end of Chadwick Boseman, and it paid a wonderful tribute to Chadwick.
Homage. The whole movie was.
Yeah.
Everybody was mourning the whole damn movie.
Yeah.
Which part of me was like, damn, it like everybody's hurting the whole time.
There was a weight to this film that is not typical in a Marvel film.
Nicely put. The weight that takes. Yes, there was a weight.
Yeah.
Totally.
So right off the
the
bat,
whole movie.
the movie starts by explaining where we are and how we got there. Very much a parallel to real life. T'Challa gets a virus that he kept quiet until it was too late. And we pick up as he is dying. And Shuri is scrambling to find a way to save her brother and is told that she failed and that he's gone.
Yeah.
And roll credits. That's how the movie starts.
Right.
Amazing. They took all the other Marvel characters out of the Marvel scroll at the beginning. It was all shots of Chadwick.
It was
Nice.
It was
Nice.
so well
Very
done.
nice. Yeah.
And this was, we suspected, maybe hoped, that it would be during the snap, and immediately they just counted that.
It is not. Nope. It is a year. Well, it seems that it was not long after the snap that T'Challa dies.
Yeah.
And then a year later is where most of the movie takes place.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the farthest out, as far as we know, as far as what's been confirmed, this is the farthest out in the future we have seen the MCU.
Yeah. So we're getting, the last movie of Phase 4. Now I think we can start seeing the start of Phase 5.
Yes.
If this is the last one out, we'll start seeing changes. And there were some really big changes in this movie.
Yeah.
Not just Wakanda, but the world at large.
The world, now that they know what Wakanda is and what they have, the world being the awful place that it is is out to, take advantage of the resources and plunder them. And we see, without T'Challa, that the Queen Mother has risen up to the role. And
boy, did she rise up, though.
My God, let's talk about it.
Good segue.
Because Angela Bassett, god damn.
All right, let's start it right here. Angela Bassett for the Academy Awards. She must receive a nomination for
At the very
supporting
least.
actress. She was powerful.
Shit.
I mean, I thought she'd already won an Oscar. After this movie, I went and looked, and she didn't win for Tina Turner, and what's love got to do with it? That's a travesty in and of itself. They need to right that wrong and give her one for this, because, I mean, this transcended hero movies. This was a wonderful acting performance.
Yeah.
Powerful.
Triumph.
Strong.
Fucking triumph, man. Good Lord. When she went on, not to jump ahead in the story, I don't give a shit. But when she went off on Okoye, and it was like, we'll
get there. But I mean,
we don't
just-
have to get there. I'm talking about Angela Bassett.
From the moment we see her,
stole the movie from me.
yeah, from the moment we see her on screen speaking to the UN, which was a powerful moment.
Hell yeah.
Bringing in those mercenaries and
French
throwing them at the
mercenaries,
foot of France and saying, bitch, what?
Yeah. You hire them to do this.
And bitch, what? She was like,
I would like to point out how different that was from the last time that Wakanda had a presence at the UN. That T'Chaka was there as an ambassador, seeking peace, trying to explain what his country had suffered.
Actually, the last time we saw them at the UN was
Oh,
at
yeah,
the
you're right.
Panther.
Opening the country.
Yeah.
But she came in not accepting anything. She walked in prisoners of war who had attacked her country's.
Everybody else is in a suit.
Yeah.
She walks in full queen attire. Just
owns it.
Yeah. And she put them on their knees in front of her biggest, person coming out against Wakanda and says, these are your people. These are what they did. We know they did it. Here's proof. We take care of our own shit.
So this is the geopolitical landscape of this movie. The world is making moves against Wakanda. Wakanda's feeling isolated. Enter Namor and the Mayan Empire, which we talked about this. I don't know if you've changed your mind about it. I thought it was amazing the way they handled this. The Mayan Empire, which, if you know history, sort of just vanished. They left this amazing civilization that, if you've never been down there, it's amazing. Go see it. But they left this amazing civilization, and there's no real way to explain their disappearance. They just sort of vanished. This movie posits that they discovered the underwater version of the heart-shaped herb, a presence of seaweed growing through the soil that was another
From vibranium.
vibranium asteroid had struck the ocean. And when they drank it, it made them no longer, earth dwellers. They had to go underwater. So the Mayan Empire didn't die. The Mayan Empire went underwater. That's amazing. It wasn't a 500-year-old underwater civilization. It's a multiple thousands of year old civilization that just shifted underwater. Even when they go to the city, they show them playing the classic ancient sport of the Mayans. The big rings up on the walls, and they have to get the ball through it. That is that was the detail to know that was something that was very Mayan. The whole way that their art and their hieroglyphics, exactly the kind of stuff you see if you go down to those Mayan areas. I thought it was a brilliant way to transition away from the Atlanteans and something they didn't want to tread on with Aquaman.
And I really love that they made that change, because in the comics, Namor is, the Marvel's King of Atlantis. And they knew they could not do that. And so they made a change. And
He is the king of Tolokan.
it worked perfectly.
To create
What
a
he's
new
talking about is I had a problem with the whole. I didn't have a problem with the Mesoamerican thing. I love that. I love the.
It was the herb.
It was the herb itself. I thought it was kind of goofy. It's like this civilization went underwater 500 years ago, but And like I told him, and I told you guys that the more I think about this movie, the more I come around to it. And that's me eating a little crow, and I'm not afraid to do that because, I mean, think about where America was 500 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, the more I think about this movie, the more I love it. And that's just the truth. The problems I have with it are nits. They're silly, stupid little things. Prejudice through me with tropes in Hollywood and such. But truth of the matter is, the more I think about this movie, the more I love it.
Yeah.
I want to see it again. I'm going to see it again this week.
Yes. And one of the things I liked about it, and I understood what you were saying because I know you're very hard on tropes, but I liked that the herb was underground, under the water, because what it was this mirror images of each other. You had the Wakandans, who represent this society above ground that had kept to themselves and had hoarded this.
And that's
resource.
new, though. That's new to tie Wakanda to, we're going to call it Atlantis, because it's not Atlantis anymore. Yeah, but the tie them two together so closely, that's new. That's never been that way in the comic books. I mean, they've known about each other, but it's never been this way. So that was new for me. So I got to come around to it. And I have. I'm okay with it, because I understand the MCU is not the comic books.
And they did. I mean, this to take a mythology that is fairly well grounded in the comics and completely change it to something just as deep and just as emotionally grounded. I loved it.
It was given more weight to be something that exists, the Mesoamerican culture, to make it real. It made it more real. It's not this fantasy Atlantis bullshit. Not that Atlantis is bullshit. Believe what you want, it's bullshit. But
Don't believe what you want.
You were about to say something.
No,
Sorry.
it's wonderful writing to take something that has been so long in the continuum of the comics, where you assume, okay, Namor, he is the king of Atlantis, that's what we're going to do with it. And somebody's like, nah, why do we have to do that? Just took it so far outside. And I'm sure there were a ton of voices against that. But somebody stood their ground and was like, no, we don't have to do that. We don't have to have Aquaman. We can have our own entire thing and make it
A
just
lost
as
culture
well.
that disappeared hundreds of years ago.
Yeah,
And
and
this is a great transition.
It
It's
is.
a profound transition.
yeah.
And
Somebody
let's
stood
talk
up and
about the
fought for it.
comparison for a minute between Aquaman and the way they handled underwater society and the way this movie handled it. I thought this was leaps and bounds better.
Good, yes. God, yes.
The just sound editing, you know how important that can be, but I felt there was this hollowness to the way they talked in Aquaman. It was like they were above water. When they talked underwater,
None of that
there
Ocean
was
Master hair wave thing.
no, but there was
God, I had to bring that up because it was so fucking stupid. Anyway. His hair was just like it was a fin. It was a fin. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to shit on Justin's point just now. That was wrong of me. Please carry on. Fin. His hair was a fin.
Look, yeah, it's going to be one of those shows, so stick with us.
I need more.
Don't deal with me. I'm sorry.
I can finish.
It was handled better. It sounded better. It had more of like a feeling like they're underwater. There was an echo to the way they spoke. But none of that's important as much as Tenoch Huerta as Namor. We have talked a lot of times about the weakness in the Marvel Universe of their villains. They did not have that problem in this movie, in my opinion.
Not at all.
I don't know where this actor came from, but he freaking killed it as Namor.
Yeah.
He's a villain to some, but that dude is a god to others. I mean, it's like it depends on your point of view, I guess.
Well, once again, Marvel takes what DC is trying to do and does it better. And I love DC, and I hate saying this over and over, but same situation with Black Adam. He's a villain, but he's a villain for his people. Namor did it so much better. I mean, he is still a villain.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of people argue he's not a villain because he was trying to protect these people. But we were talking before, and it's not what you is what you could do. What you're doing can be as noble as can be. It could be a very noble thing. But the things you do to achieve that noble outcome is what makes you either a hero or a villain.
I can't hear what you say over the sound of what you do.
Exactly.
Good
He
way to put
may have a noble desire, but the things he's willing to do to achieve it is what makes him a villain.
Yeah.
And he is everything you wanted Namor to be. This actor just nailed. He was menacing. He was godlike. He was reverent.
He was a force of fucking nature.
Yes.
It was.
And he was, God, it was so good. So good.
If we're talking about Namor's motivations, I thought, honestly, the best line was at the end, where he was, drawing the glyphs on the wall, because you see him doing that a lot. And he's approached by one of his lieutenants, I think.
Yeah, I can't remember her name.
And she says,
Namora.
Was it Namora?
Yes, it was Namora.
Okay. And she says, you have failed your people. You have surrendered. What are you doing? And he looks at her, and not even, I think it was the dismissiveness towards her that I thought was so profound. He says, yeah, but now the world knows about Wakanda, sees what they can do. And when they attack Wakanda, they will look to us for support.
That's right.
And it was just that idea of he's thinking so far ahead for his people, for his country. That's what he did. He realized that he couldn't win, but he also realized that he could lose in a way where he still did win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which is a total Namor move. I mean, he's a manipulator. That's his thing.
He also, in his explanation of his origin story, referred to himself as a mutant.
Yep.
Yay.
100%.
That is our second mutant.
Second mutant, official mutant. Yep.
Kamala Khan and Namor.
Yeah, so we're finally getting references to that.
And Namor is over 500 years old, and we know that based on the timeline here. So it's like, he's not technically the first mutant in the MCU. I think Apocalypse was, but right now he's the first mutant.
Yep, he's the earliest mutant, absolutely.
In the timeline.
I think he
counts.
will be until Apocalypse comes along. He will be.
If they do Apocalypse, which they fucked up Apocalypse so bad. Fox did.
That was
exactly why
Fox.
they need to do it
Yeah.
again.
That might be like the big bad in phase 7 or 8, something down the road.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't put it past them, but it's not going to be
the next several phases are the phase of the Kang Dynasty. So I would imagine the mutant phase is 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, we're not going to see him anytime soon. We're just going to get hints at him, She-Hulk stuff, when the mutant X-Men coming in, that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
But, don't expect it anytime soon. One of the things that I loved, and we talked about this, was the aesthetics of Namor and his people and just how they embrace that Mesoamerican tradition of everything. I thought it was beautiful.
I did too.
And adapted it, honestly, to underwater living. Like his throne was, I assume, a great white
jaw.
Yeah, or massive shark jaws. Great white shark.
The Meg.
Yeah, the megalodon.
That's it.
Put above it. But I think the best thing I liked about it was the crown he wore was a feathered serpent crown, and that's Quetzalcoatl in the Mesoamerican mythology, and he is literally a feathered god. And I thought that was just wonderful.
Cool Khan.
Yeah. That he literally looked like a god to his people.
Yeah.
And held that up.
Where they looked, he was.
Yeah, he was a god to his people.
I loved how they were only blue when they came out of water. They were totally normal looking until they came out into oxygen, and they turned immediately blue.
And a couple of big Marvel characters, the Atuma, the big guy with the tiger shark, not tiger shark, the hammerhead shark headdress.
Yeah.
Atuma's a big Marvel character, and he was there. He was the one that Okoye followed at the beginning, and he was there later, and then she ended up taking him out. But that's a big Marvel character. Namora was as well.
Yeah.
Those are his two generals.
Yeah.
Those are big Marvel characters.
The world is expanding, and it's we have had some negative things to say about some of Phase 4 movies.
Yes.
There is not a lot negative to say about this movie.
we haven't even gotten into
I mean,
ReRun.
we haven't gotten into Shuri. We haven't gotten to Riri. Riri was fantastic. The girl that they cast in this role, I should have looked her name up. She hasn't done much, like 2 other movies. She was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
She kept up with the heavy-hitting actors that she shared the screen with.
Funny.
And her presence was right there. Yes.
She was just like, yeah, she was perfect. I mean, she was great. She was a great addition to, and I mean, bless this kid who just set her foothold in the MCU.
Oh, yeah.
Because,
She's the future.
Yeah,
Katie bar the door. That chick is like, from now on.
And I love that she, in the comics, she's more of a direct kind of protege of Stark. In this, she's taken some license with Stark, but it's not Stark Tech. Even though the FBI agents that pulled up on her, she got Stark Tech.
It's like, nah, not really.
But I loved her. I can't wait to see her. The costume that they came up with. We had this kind of discussion before. She's of this Gen Z or the Xennials that love anime. She took the Stark suits and gave it her own little kind of anime flair with the eyes.
Very anime.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of makes sense. I mean, you think about your daughter. If your daughter was going to make a suit right now, what would it look like? It'd probably have an anime flair.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool. Show that generational difference between what Tony would build and what she would build. So I loved her. I loved the way they integrated her into the Wakanda story. I love the way they had her interacting with Shuri. And let's get to Shuri now because she is kind of the meat of the story.
There.
Did not expect what happened here. I didn't expect. I mean, this is me eating crow again. This is happening a lot tonight, yo. But I didn't expect Shuri to be the new Black Panther. I didn't expect this. I didn't. But here we are. I know it happened in the comics. I know it did. But
Her story arc was really good.
It was. Yeah, and it was
tragic.
Really dark.
And it was dark and it was tragic. And the fact that she took the 3D printed heart-shaped herb, synthetic heart-shaped herb, and who she saw when she went to the astral plane, y'all. What the hell?
Yeah, I did
How
not see that coming.
fucking cool was that? And I was sitting next to Justin and I elbowed him because I was like, yo, because I mean, take it from there, dude.
I think I missed it. I thought he would be the Black Panther, but I did say Michael B. Jordan's character of Eric Killmonger would show up in this movie. I did
That's
not.
why you got the elbow, because it was like, there he is. There's
I did
Killmonger.
not see it happening this way.
Yeah.
Shuri,
Cool.
Shuri is very conflicted right now.
Mm-hmm.
She's seen her father die. She's seen her brother die. She saw her mother die in this movie.
Right.
She wants to light the world on fire, as she says.
Mm-hmm.
So when she goes into the ancestral plane expecting to see her father and T'Challa and her mother, she sees the dark side of her family.
Right. Shit, that's so good, y'all. That is so fucking good.
And he is the menacing presence he was in the first movie.
Right. Ryan Coogler, fucking killing it,
They
dude.
need to give him one of the Avengers movies.
Oh, God. He's
He's
fucking earning it.
He's very good.
Mhm.
This movie was written well, filmed well,
Mhm.
edited well, acted well. I mean, it hit
As
all the
was
fucking notes.
the first one.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Rarely does the second movie surpass the original.
Oh,
I feel this movie leapt over the first movie.
Yeah, I agree.
I want to go back for a second to the ancestral plane because where she saw him was interesting to me. Is she saw him in the throne room
Where her mother
on
died.
the throne. No, not just where her mother died, but that to me, because when he took the heart-shaped herb, he saw his father in an apartment in LA with bars on the windows where he could not access the ancestral plane.
Mm-hmm.
That to me says that Shuri thinks it's okay that he became the king, that it's acceptable that he went through the rites and was the king on the throne, and that's who she saw. And people are going to tell me I'm wrong. You could be like, that's vengeance, that's violence, that's anger, and that's who you see. And that's
real,
okay.
though. That's real, though. That's how you feel.
Yeah, and that's fine. But I feel like she would have saw him in a different place if there wasn't a part of her that didn't, believe in the traditions of Wakanda, where
Kind
he
of agreed with
was,
Killmonger, and we clearly did
on the
some
throne.
level.
That he was the king doing what.
What a twist that was, y'all.
It
fact
was.
That was a twist.
It
I
really
didn't see
was.
coming. I mean, bravo, y'all.
God, it was just it was so good.
The way they handled the fight on the ship with the Dora Milaje jumping over, and the
Baku and the White
Baku,
Gorilla Clan
yes,
holding them back with
holding
the
them,
ropes,
anchoring them while they fought the Tolokans off the side.
So
that battle was great, introducing the Midnight Angels, fighting alongside Ironheart. That was just an epic battle going on while the real battle's going on over here between Namor and Shuri. I thought that was a brutal fight between them. I mean, Shuri getting stabbed straight through the gut with her own spear. Him getting blasted and burned and just craving for water.
It's like a street fight.
It was.
Came down to.
I love that Shuri fought that with intelligence. First off, she locked him in the ship and turned the heaters on because she realized he needed moisture and ran from there. It's a very different technique than you would have seen T'Challa or T'Chaka do it.
He started screwing up the ship, and she didn't take me to the desert.
Yeah.
And he just like, oh man.
But I mean,
so good.
I think one of the most brutal moments, she tore one of his wings off.
One of his ankle wings.
So painful the way
he reacted.
Oh yeah.
It's like he held it like
It was fucking badass. I mean, that fight scene was just, they were trying to end each other.
I love when he stabbed her through the gut and thought it was over. He leaned in, and this is just that menacing quality that Tenoch brought to this character. He leaned in, he said, this could have been different. God, this dude, top 5 Marvel villain for me. Top 3 maybe.
Yeah, I think he's up there. Honestly.
For me, it would be him, the Purple Man, and Thanos.
And 2 of those are dead. So I kind of feel like at this point,
look forward to seeing it again this week. We're going to see it again this week, Wednesday night at Amstar.
Yeah.
Yes. Grand reopening of Amstar Theaters in Alabaster. We will be there in costume to celebrate the reopening. Come watch Black Panther with us for the first time, second time, maybe even the third time. Come check it out with us.
They've remodeled this. This is a brand new theater, even though it's been there for years.
Theaters that have done the comfortable seating and the speakers and all that jazz. So we look forward to seeing it. Come out and see it with us. 2 things I want to call out in this movie before we move on. The ending. M'Baku is now the king of Wakanda.
Yeah.
And Shuri leaves Wakanda for Haiti. And that's where that is where we get the post-credits scene.
The only one that mattered.
And again, I will eat crow here because I wanted this movie to be. I wanted this movie to go badly because they weren't honoring T'Challa and they weren't giving us a T'Challa. And in this post-credit scene, they both honored Chadwick Boseman and gave us a future T'Challa.
Mm-hmm.
We see Shuri go and meet Nakia in Haiti, and Nakia introduces her son, Prince T'Challa.
Mm-hmm.
Son of King T'Challa.
Right.
And
it was so cool how we knew who he was when you introduced him. It's like, holy shit, that's T'Challa's son. But and then when he introduced himself, that's my Haiti name. But my actual name is T'Challa, son of T'Challa, and it's like I feel like I got hit twice with this awesome ass news. It was
and immediately I turned to my girlfriend and I was like, we could still see T'Challa with Storm.
Possibly.
We could, depending on how young Storm is.
Well, I mean, if we think the X-Men saga is phase 7 and beyond, that's plenty of time for that little boy to grow up to be a young,
a 17-year-old Black Panther.
And fall in love with Storm of the X-Men.
Because Shuri clearly does not want that mantle.
No.
She left.
She ran away from Wakanda.
She will raise that little boy to be the Black Panther.
Yeah,
right,
100%. Right. But no, she very clearly, I think, realized what the reason she took the mantle on was not the right reason, and that's why she left. you know,
I
her goal was
completely.
vengeance.
It was.
Anyway.
She realized she wasn't worthy of the Black Panther mantle.
Yeah.
Let's do this real quick, and then we'll move to our other subject tonight. This is the end of Phase 4. Ken, where do you put your top 3 Phase 4 movies after this one?
Top 3 are Spider-Man Far From Home is still number 1 for me. I mean, just because. But No Way Home. Spider-Man No Way Home is number 1, but Wakanda Forever is going to be easy number 2. I cannot remember what my number 3 was.
Okay.
So
Josh.
I do have to agree with Ken. Spider-Man No Way Home was my number 1. Wakanda Forever was my number 3. It gets kind of messy as you go down, and the more I rewatch them, the more I'm kind of like, I don't really know. And I'm just, at this point, truthfully, it's a toss-up between Doctor Strange or Shang-Chi for me.
Okay.
Number 3.
It's a solid 3 for me. I loved Spider-Man No Way Home. If you look over here behind Ken, that is a lot of Spider-Man comic books. Hundreds and hundreds of Spider-Man comic books. I love the web guy. But that movie was a lot of fan service and took a lot from the superior animated movie. It's great. I am not shitting on No Way Home. It is great. But this movie transcended hero movies. It transcended Marvel movies. This was a spectacular film. It succeeded in acting, directing, everything you want. It was a fantastic movie. So it's number 1 for me. Mm-hmm. Spider-Man number 2, Shang-Chi squarely number 3 for me. And we all 3 can say it at the same time. The worst movie of Phase 4 is Thor: Love and Thunder.
Keeps coming back up. Yeah, we're never going to not talk about that in the show, I guess. At some point, Chris Hemsworth is just going to be outside the door to beat the shit out of us.
No, you know what? I read an article the other day, an interview with Chris Hemsworth, and he said that he was worried about the character development being ruined the whole time he shot that movie. Basically threw Taika Waititi under the bus where he belongs.
He should have said something early when Thor was doing this spread eagle thing, holding the take your shit apart. Okay, I'm sorry.
Preach, brother. Preach.
No. This movie hurt me. This movie hurt me. I was so happy and excited for this movie that hurt me.
Yeah, that one was one.
We needed this movie to be as spectacular it was.
We
to
did.
Make up for
We really
just
did.
how god awful Love and Thunder was.
And they hit it out of the park.
They did.
I
They
mean,
did. Phase 4 ends with a bang.
Yeah.
Nice bang. Nice, beautiful bang.
Nice.
Can't wait to see it again.
Yes.
Maybe
Wednesday. Come see it with us.
Yes.
So,
Other thing we wanted. Oh,
I was just going to say, whoever Kevin Feige sacrificed on the altar to the dark gods, like, I guess they're a really good person.
it was
so,
just Kevin.
I like my version better. Dark magic, Kevin Feige, you know,
Of course you
worshiping
do.
Cthulhu as he's sacrificing children's hopes and dreams.
This is not John Constantine.
It could be.
All right. The other thing we want to talk to you about is the latest episode of Andor, the Star Wars saga that takes place before the events of Rogue One. And this has been a slog fest up to this episode. I know a lot of people love it, and it's a good show. You two loved it.
Slogfest.
Not for us.
No, that's his opinion.
That's what I was about to say.
Come talk to
That's
me
my
about
opinion. It had been really, really dark and really, really. I mean, I know you got to go to the darkness before you can come out to the light, but it had been getting really dark, and that's not to say it's not good. It was just dark. We got the payoff this week, and Andy Serkis was so good in this role in this episode.
For me, the payoff was last week when Skarsgård went on that fucking monologue. But that's me. But
That wasn't a fantastic moment.
God damn, it was incredible. I've watched it like 20 times. Good shit, man.
Ken's just in the parking lot hyping himself up for a sale. Like, yeah, I gave up everything. What if you gave up? Just punching the car panels before he goes in. Yeah!
And this
Love and honesty. Ah!
This shit was
weird. like it hasn't before.
No, it doesn't.
No, it's a great monologue. Honestly, I really do put it up there with like the top 5 monologues I told Justin. I think it's up there with the Blade Runner monologue. You know, teardrops in the rain. I
Was
really
that
do.
monologue not in this episode? That monologue was in this episode, wasn't it?
I have no idea.
That wasn't in the week prior. That was in this week's, right?
I think it was last week's.
Was it?
In my mind, it's last week's. But I drank a lot, so I don't know.
I thought this week's was the one where he pulled the guy out of the ISB.
Yeah, that
While
was
they
last.
were-
It was last week's. I don't know.
Okay.
I
Anyway,
can
This
will
was
be
not
wrong.
the point.
I believe, and we'll check afterwards, but I believe while the prison break is going on, this whole chess game between Mon Mothma and Lucian and the Empire is happening. And while Mon Mothma is trying to secure, her finances, Lucian is having to deal with this. And I'm pretty sure it was this episode where he meets and we find out that Imperial officer is actually a rebel spy.
Yeah.
And he's ready to quit. He can't handle it anymore. And he says he's sacrificed a lot, which is what sets up Lucian's speech.
Mm-hmm.
I like the way the pieces are coming together. I love the prison break element of this episode.
Yeah.
And I question their plan at the end because they all basically had to swim miles in the water to survive. There's a reason only 2 of them crawled out of the water at the end. I'm not sure how many survived that swim.
And I'm sorry,
Nameless Star Wars monster.
that one guy.
And come out of the depths.
I've got to point out, just because it's the Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid reference, where Andor's at the edge and he's looking, back at what's his name?
Circus.
Yeah, Circus. And he's like, "Come on, jump!" And he's like, "I can't swim." And in my head, I added on, "The fall will probably kill you." Just
Right.
that moment
I
of
remembered
like,
that.
what does it
You
matter?
said that before I watched it. And I'm like, that's what Josh is talking about.
Yeah.
So,
Who cares? You'll probably die anyway. Let's go.
yeah, I feel like they showed that overhead shot where everybody's swimming away from the. I feel like there should have been guys floating. I feel like this should have been, but it's fine.
But I thought it was great because they just went ham on these fucking guards.
They did. Yeah, the worst fear of any prison guard is then they realize that there's a lot more of them than you.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they realized at this point.
And I loved when they took over main control, and one of them was like, "I can't do that," and he just shot him immediately. He's like, "Can you do that?" Yeah, I can. Yep, I got that.
We're seeing the reference in the first few minutes of Rogue One, where Andor Cassian talks about the dark and horrible things he's done for the rebellion. We're seeing that now. This is the dark and dirty. This is how rebellions start, and it's not always pretty. And you might not. You have some villains in the rebellion to get it started.
Yeah,
Lucian is a villain.
Oh, he 100%
He
is.
is a believer
He's a
in
dark
what
dude.
he's doing.
Yeah.
He
He
sacrificed how many men in a fake, like he knew he was caught. Anyway.
Thanos level disregard for his soldiers.
Yes.
We have blood to spare.
It's getting the Empire to tighten that grip
Yeah.
in order to.
For me, this doesn't feel like a Star Wars show, but it's just so well written. It just beautifully written for me.
Yeah.
Just even up to this point, every episode I've been riveted by it.
Oh yeah, I agree with you.
It's not for everybody, I understand, but it's like, speaks to each.
And I think
in their own way.
one of the moments that actually spoke for me in a lesser way was Mon Mothma talking to this criminal leader, clearly, about moving money through banking regulations. And he asked for within their culture, I can't remember the name of it, to have his son introduced to Mon Mothma's daughter for an arranged marriage. And it would tie them together more closely. And she was like, "That'll never happen." And he looked at her and said, "That's the first truthful thing you've said to me."
It's the first untruthful.
Oh, was it? Yeah, okay. But it's that idea of what are you willing to give up? Not to save yourself or your people, those you love, but an entire galaxy.
Yeah.
Anything and everything.
I think what shines in the show is the performances for me. Not just the writing, but the performances.
Skarsgård is
That
a treasure.
Good Lord, have mercy.
Yeah.
Gosh, especially that. I mean, we keep bringing. I'm going back to that monologue, but I feel like that will stick with me for the rest of my life.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was so good.
Powerful monologue.
It was so good. Anyways,
So that wasn't the season finale, was it?
No.
Okay.
We got one more.
All right.
Hopefully not.
We'll talk to you about the season finale next week after we see it.
Yeah. We literally have no news or rumors right
The
now.
only thing I want to mention is the continued takeover by James Gunn at DC. There is now a fairly good rumor, considering he posted a picture of the man himself on his Instagram. There's a fairly good chance we're going to see a Lobo project coming in.
Oh, Jason Momoa is Lobo.
It will not be Jason Momoa. He's Aquaman.
Kind of like that.
It will be Batista.
We also had.
He loves Batista. He has been on the record that he wants Batista in the DC with him. It will be Batista will be on the Lobo.
We've also had
even
Batista.
with what Momoa posted this week about Lobo, I mean, there was like a
You
connection.
can't cast Aquaman as
You can if like
You
what
take
James
him
Gunn
right
said-
and do
what
the face.
James
so
Gunn
right.
said was like he's focusing on moving forward, and moving forward is like
and the moving forward that he has stated is we're going to focus on our big five: Superman, Batman, Aquaman, and Wonder Woman and Harley Quinn.
I think Lobo could take Aquaman. Like if
Come on, man.
He's Caesarean. He literally can't die.
You cannot have two major characters played by the same actor in the same universe. You just can't do it.
Batista would
Which means
make.
we need to recast Aquaman and give Momoa Lobo because he fucking looks like him. He's like the Aquaman character they created is essentially Lobo.
Yeah,
I mean, he's like
basically.
hard
Hard drinking, just like
yeah, right. That's Lobo. That's not Aquaman. It's run, Barry, run. You know what I'm saying? Just run. And like Flash.
We're going to come out of Flashpoint.
Yeah.
Aquaman's going to be a blonde-headed white dude. And we're like, I'm the main man over here now.
Bastages.
Over here. Whoop.
He can still talk to fish, but he just fucks them, and that's kind of his thing.
Wait, what?
I don't know. Come on, little.
And it's time to end the show.
What? Why does it always have to be timed in the show when I bring up animalities or
You just answered your own
Ah,
question.
shut up.
Rest in peace, Kevin Conroy.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Actually, for real. Don't.
No, I was just throwing that out as he.
No, we
don't
lost.
have to go there. But
Yeah, no, we really did, and that is somebody I think all of us was kind of one of the founding figures.
Yes, I have his signature over there. Ken and I had an amazing opportunity to meet him a few years ago, and he even gave us the classic "I am Batman."
did. We stood right over
He
him.
was
We
a
signed our
friendly man.
shit.
He was wonderful, and rest in peace
Yeah,
My Batman.
out to his family.
he's the one that I for me, that's where I just go.
He is Batman, and the best Joker was very effusive on him on Twitter. Said he was a brother to me. Amazing man, amazing voice actor.
It's hard.
Rest in power.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful time to be a nerd and be alive. Go out there and do something geeky. See us this Wednesday at Amstar and Alabaster for another viewing of Black Panther. And as always, come talk to us about it at CNA. Have a good week, guys. Excelsior.